Do you know what Nigeria's biggest budget in history is? We're about to delve into that topic, shedding light on Nigeria's budgetary progression over time. Grasping the narrative of a country's budget history is an engaging exercise, not just for economists, but anyone interested in the financial pulse of a nation. It's a tale of priorities, choices, and the economic trajectory of one of Africa's most dynamic economies. So buckle up and stay with us as we embark on this interesting journey through Nigeria's budget history. To fully appreciate Nigeria's biggest budget, we must start from the beginning. Let's journey back to the late 1950s, shortly before Nigeria gained independence. The earliest recorded budgets were modest, reflecting the economic conditions of the country at the time. The focus of these budgets was primarily on establishing a stable economy and infrastructure. The key sectors these budgets targeted included agriculture, education, and health, with a sprinkle of funding for military and administrative costs. Agriculture was the mainstay of the Nigerian economy, contributing a significant portion of the country's gross domestic product, or GDP. Hence, a considerable chunk of the budget was allocated to this sector. The goal was to boost food production and export crops like cocoa, groundnuts, and palm oil, which were the country's major foreign exchange earners. Education was another sector that received substantial attention. The colonial government, recognizing the importance of education in nation building, allocated funds to establish more schools and increase literacy rates. The health sector wasn't left out either. Funds were allocated to build hospitals and improve health services, with a focus on tackling prevalent diseases such as malaria and tuberculosis. In the years that followed independence, Nigeria's budgets continued to reflect these priorities, but with a change in emphasis. The discovery of oil in commercial quantities in the late 1960s led to a shift in the country's economic focus. The budgets of this period reflected this change, with increased funding for the exploration and production of oil. It's also worth noting the economic conditions during these early years. Inflation was relatively low, and the Nigerian currency, the naira, was strong. However, economic stability was often disrupted by political instability and military coups, which had significant impacts on budget implementation. As we can see, the focus of these early budgets was primarily on establishing a stable economy and infrastructure. These budgets laid the foundation for later economic developments and set the stage for the discussion of Nigeria's biggest budget in history, which we'll delve into in subsequent scenes. Fast forward a few decades, and Nigeria's budgets began to change. As the nation developed, so too did its economic focus. The Middle Era budgets, spanning from the late 70s to the early 90s, saw a shift in emphasis, moving from infrastructural development to the needs of the people. Education, healthcare, and social services began to take a larger piece of the budgetary pie. This was a period where the Nigerian government started recognizing the importance of investing in its citizens, its human capital. Education particularly was prioritized, with an increased budgetary allocation aimed at improving literacy rates and building a skilled workforce. Healthcare too saw significant budgetary consideration. The government realized that a healthy populace was necessary for a thriving economy. Funds were allocated towards improving healthcare facilities, training medical personnel, and making healthcare more accessible and affordable for the average Nigerian. The Middle Era also saw budgets being allocated towards social services, such as housing and welfare programs. These were aimed at improving living conditions and reducing poverty levels. The government started to recognize that for the economy to grow, the well-being of its citizens had to be addressed. These budgetary changes were influenced by the economic conditions and key events of the time. The late 70s and 80s were marked by economic instability, with fluctuating oil prices impacting Nigeria's oil-dependent economy. Despite these challenges, the government remained committed to investing in education, healthcare, and social services. The 90s, on the other hand, saw some economic recovery. The budgetary allocations during this period reflected the government's commitment to continue investing in these sectors, despite the economic downturns of the previous decades. This period marked a significant shift in Nigeria's budget allocation, reflecting the changing needs and priorities of the country. The focus on education, healthcare, and social services underscored the government's recognition of the importance of investing in its citizens and set the stage for the budgetary priorities of the years to follow. In recent years, Nigeria's budgets have continued to evolve. This evolution has been marked by an increased focus on three key areas: technology, security, and sustainable development. Technology has been at the forefront of Nigeria's recent budgets. As the world moves further into the digital age, Nigeria is not left behind. Efforts have been concentrated on improving technological infrastructure and access to digital services across the country. The aim is to foster innovation, create jobs, and stimulate economic growth. Security, too, has been a priority in recent budgets. Given the challenges the country has faced, from terrorism to organized crime, it's no surprise that the government has committed significant resources to bolstering the security apparatus. The investments in this sector are aimed at ensuring the safety of Nigerians and to create an environment conducive for business and economic growth. Sustainable development is the third pillar that has shaped recent budgets. Nigeria, like many other nations, is grappling with the effects of climate change. To address this, the government has allocated funds towards renewable energy projects, climate-resilient infrastructure, and initiatives aimed at preserving the country's biodiversity. The economic conditions during this period have also played a role in shaping the budgets. From the global economic slowdown to the drop in oil prices, these events have influenced the allocation of resources. Despite these challenges, the government has strived to maintain a balanced budget, prioritizing key sectors while managing its debts responsibly. In terms of key events, the COVID-19 pandemic stands out. It has caused significant disruption, necessitating changes in the budget to address the health crisis and mitigate its economic impact. This was evident in the budget adjustments made to support healthcare services and provide relief to the most affected sectors and individuals. These recent budgets reflect Nigeria's efforts to adapt to the rapidly changing global landscape. They are a testament to the country's resilience and its commitment to creating a prosperous and sustainable future for its people. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, Nigeria's biggest budget in history. In a country known for its vibrant culture and rich resources, Nigeria has seen a range of budgets over the years, but none have been quite as monumental as the one we're about to delve into. This budget, the largest in Nigeria's history, was not just a record in terms of its sheer size, but also in terms of the bold ambitions it encapsulated for the nation's future. This budget was directed towards key sectors that are the bedrock of any thriving economy. Infrastructure, education, healthcare, and security were the prime focus. The government aimed to construct a robust framework for sustainable development, recognizing that these sectors are integral to the nation's prosperity. Infrastructure was given a significant boost with the intent to create a conducive environment for businesses, thereby attracting investments and fostering job creation. Education, a cornerstone of any society's progress, saw substantial allocation to equip younger generations with the skills necessary to navigate an increasingly complex world. Healthcare, often a litmus test for a country's development, received much-needed attention and funding. The aim was to build a health system that not just responds effectively to health crises, but also works proactively to improve the overall well-being of the population. Security, a fundamental right of every citizen, was another crucial area of focus. The budget aimed to guarantee the safety of Nigerians and ensure that businesses operate in a secure environment. The economic conditions at the time of this budget were challenging, but not insurmountable. The government was determined to use this budget as a tool to stimulate growth, reduce unemployment, and improve the standard of living. And the impact? Significant. This budget did not only represent numbers on a page, but it marked a critical juncture in Nigeria's economic journey. It demonstrated the country's resolve to invest in its future, to tackle its challenges head-on, and to continue its march towards progress. This budget is a testament to Nigeria's economic growth and development over the years. What a journey it's been through Nigeria's budget history. We've traversed through decades, starting from the earliest budgets, then moving on to the middle-era budgets, and finally taking a deep dive into the recent budgets. We've seen how Nigeria's financial plans have evolved over time, each one reflecting the economic conditions of its era. In the earliest budgets, we saw how the country was finding its footing, grappling with the challenges of a newly independent nation. The middle-era budgets were a reflection of a growing economy with increasing complexities and demands. And in the recent budgets, we witnessed Nigeria's response to modern challenges and opportunities, culminating in the biggest budget in the country's history. Understanding the progression of Nigeria's budgets is not just a historical exercise. It's a way to comprehend the nation's economic journey, the factors that shaped it, and the decisions that steered its course. For economists, it's a treasure trove of insights into the fiscal policies and economic strategies of a major African economy. But the importance of this knowledge extends beyond economists. For anyone interested in the economic dynamics of nations, Nigeria's budget history serves as a fascinating case study. It reveals how a country can navigate its unique challenges and leverage its opportunities to chart its economic path. We hope you've enjoyed this journey through Nigeria's budget history, and we look forward to exploring more interesting topics with you in the future.